Manufacturing isn't a one-size-fits-all. It's built on materials, machines, and the methods behind them. In What's Your Method, we talk with the leaders at Methods Machine Tools about how they're helping manufacturers in aerospace, mold making, and machining turn complexity into opportunity.
Hey, so Matt, welcome to What's Your Method on making chips.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. Good to
So
have
a
you
lot
here.
of people don't know this, but I started the By the Numbers podcast because I am such a strong financial mind. I ended up letting Mike run with it just to kind of help him get there and mentor him a little bit. But yeah, he's taken it really far. So we're proud of you, Mike. Good job.
Well, I truly appreciate the opportunity, Nick.
Yeah, don't let your genius overshadow this segment here, Nick. So.
Yeah, well, we're happy to have someone who actually knows what they're talking about when it comes to finance, Mr. Matt Sheehan on. Matt, can you give us a little bit of a background on your role with Methods?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been with Methods just over 8 years now. I actually came from the banking sector, financial services world, investment world early in my career. Spent 10 years at a large manufacturing lender covering all of the Northeast, working with shops each and every day and working with all of the different distributors and vendors throughout the Northeast region, and really built a good relationship with Methods, and they had wanted to bring me on board to provide that service, that financial service advice and guidance to our customers. So 8 years later, here I am, and we started a group that was going, but needed a little bit of bump to, kind of get to where we are today. So now we work collaboratively hand in hand with our sales guys and our customers.
It's awesome. A little bit of vertical integration on Methods' part, and super awesome to bring a key partnership in-house.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Mike, I mean, you've been buying machines like crazy.
Sorry.
I'm not the one who pulls the trigger on buying machines. I'm usually the guy trying to sell it. But,
Sure.
Talk about your experience, financial tools that you need sometimes to get you over the hump.
Well, I mean, I think all of us as shops need, we need a good trusted advisor we can work with. And, so often, I mean, at least a lot of the folks I'm working with, I either need to go to my bank or an independent financing. So I think it's really great that you guys pulled that in-house. What does that process look like for somebody that's, looking at some equipment from Methods? How do you guys kind of go about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So really what we've done, Mike, is we've gone out and taken the hard part of financing out of the customer's hands. We have deep relationships with all the major direct lenders in the marketplace. So coming from that world, it was sort of an easy transition for me to know who to go work with. They were my competitors, right? So now I'm on the other side of the fence working directly with them. And we negotiated terms and structures that I know work for our customers. So what we do is when a customer is interested in financing and they come to us, and we hear this a lot, they'll say, well, I'm not sure I can afford the machine. I'm not sure how to pay for it. And our sales guys say, great, we have an in-house finance team that are former bank guys that can help guide you through that process without maybe talking to your bank or talking to a banker first, maybe saying something you might not want to say. So we're providing those customers with that guidance of sort of the banking landscape, right? We collect a credit app from them. We do an initial in-house pre-screen. One of the guys that works for me has a very solid credit background. That's very helpful. So between the two of us, with my background in sales and being out in front of customers and in shops and really kind of doing that guidance when I was on the bank side, now we have the credit guy in-house. So the two of us together are really sizing up a transaction and figuring out, is this a customer that we could take to a traditional lender that will give them really good interest rates? Or is it someone that maybe needs a little bit of help? Or we could kind of guide them and go to maybe more of a non-traditional lender if they're, not in a good position, right? So we're providing that guidance to those customers, but for the easy ones, the ones that have good credit, we're going out there on their behalf and we're getting them the best deal we can get them, closing that transaction, coming back to them, providing them documents. And for them, they're just sitting back saying, the finance team's got it, and they get their financing docs, and we keep things moving forward for them. The cool part about it too is our back offices work together. So the back offices at the lenders are also working collaboratively with our back office and our accounting team. So whereas if the customer went and got financing on their own, they're part of that process the whole time, right? They're getting a call from their banker saying, hey, I need an invoice. It needs to be revised this way. That doesn't happen with our process. We've taken all that complexity out of it.
Wow.
That's just such a great turnkey service that takes so much of the headache out of the shop owner.
Yeah, we get so much positive feedback on it. And really what it's done is it's solidified those customer relationships for Methods, right? They're coming back to us because the process of buying machine the last time, from service to install to the buying process, was easy. And now the financing process was easy for them, and they want to do that again, right?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I think, the machine tool sales guys focusing on the technology and the opportunity to make parts, and that's complex enough as it is, and I think what you guys grasp
Absolutely.
here is like the real entire problem that the customer has, and you're solving all of it, not just the making chips part of it. So I think that's really, really special. Would you say it's pretty unique what you're offering, and your approach to it, bringing like the banking folks in house?
I know some of the competition has something similar, but I think the uniqueness that we have is you have myself, who has 30 plus years of financial services background under his belt, right? 10 of that specifically at a large lender who I was feet on the street in shops every single day, going to see customers, getting tours, asking about what products they make, really digging in. So I understand the shop mentality. I understand, our customers probably more than most bankers do. I'll say that. So that's a huge advantage for us. So, and I still get brought in from time to time to go see large customers where they may be working on a pretty sizable project, and the sales guy wants to bring me into the transaction. I'll go see the customer with them, and we'll have conversations about what makes sense and what they potentially could afford and what I could help them with or not. And it makes that buying process a little bit unique for the customer.
I love the front end advisory side of it you have, where, help somebody decide, can they afford one, and then how to afford it. Because I think we've all seen shops. I mean, I think everybody can think of shops that have maybe been overfinanced, and then have got themselves in trouble. So it's nice to have someone, with your experience, to be able to help a owner really understand what they're getting into. Maybe if it doesn't fit their model, great, right out of the gate, and then have a growth plan from there.
Yeah, and I've seen those shops as well, Mike, that have been overfinanced, where they're really good at what they do and making parts and the machining aspect of it, but maybe business wise, they're not the best.
Yeah, sure.
So we can only advise them so much, right? But
sure.
The good part is that when customers are considering different pieces of equipment, we're having those conversations and giving them payment examples and, running different scenarios for them, seeing if they can afford it, right? And it actually helps them a little bit, where they're not having to go back and forth with their person or their bank to see if that makes sense. It's instant. Yeah. It's right there.
Yeah, there is just so much complexity already to trying to run a manufacturing company, a machine shop, and especially in our industry, which is really cutthroat, really competitive. So for you guys to understand that and to take a lot of that load off of the shoulders of the manufacturing leader is really awesome and really impressive. So thank you for sharing your method for solving the whole problem, not just the technical part of the problem. And we really appreciate you joining us.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Matt.
I really appreciate it.
We'll catch you next time.